We live in a land that you can choose same-sex marriage or opposite marriage. And you know what? In my country and in my family, I think that I believe that a marriage should be between a man and a woman. No offense to anybody out there, but that's how I was raised, and that's how I think that it should be between a man and a woman. Thank you.
And that was Miss California responding to a controversial question from celebrity blogger Perez Hilton that many say cost her the crown. And here to respond is the runner-up to this year's Miss USA competition, Miss California. Carrie Prejean is with us. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
You know, first of all, the people of California voted on Prop 8. They agree with you.
Yes.
It's just an interesting side note.
Right.
All right. He has since viciously attacked you. What's your reaction?
All I can really do is hold my head high and just be proud of what I said that night, and I have no regrets. I said what I meant, and it was my honest opinion. He asked for my opinion. I gave it to him. I was under, as you were watching the video, I felt as if, though I maybe stumbled a little bit, but I picked myself back up at the very end, and I said what I needed to say, and I got my point across, and that's all you can really do.
If he's going to ask a question, it shouldn't be based on what your answer is. If they're asking for an honest answer, I mean, did you have to be dishonest or politically?
That's how I've been doing pageants since I was 17 years old, and I've always been told that you're not judged on what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
And they should never judge you on your opinions. And I think with a question like that, that's so controversial, either way, I was either going to stay true to myself and stay true to my beliefs and my faith and stay strong with it, or I was going to give in to him and say...
Did you think at that moment that, all right, I know you said at one point that at that moment you knew that that was a controversial question, and you actually went on to say that you felt God was testing your character and faith. I do.
At that moment, I was getting ready to answer my question, and I started saying, I think that Americans, you know, we have the right to choose. But then something inside of me said, Carrie, stand up for what you believe in and say what you feel and represent the majority of California. You're Miss California. The majority of voters believe that a marriage is between a man and a woman. And
You have also said, and a lot of other people believe it as well, and I believe it also, based on looking over how the judging goes on, that if you had been given another question, you would have won this competition.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
And you think so?
I honestly think that if I was not asked that specific question, I was prepared enough to answer pretty much any other question that there was.
But you don't care.
I don't. I think this is such a blessing, honestly. This is such a blessing that I'm able to be here to proclaim my faith on national television and be proud and have no regrets. Yep. I really don't.
When you say that, because a lot of times people think about beauty pageants, and all right, there's the bathing suit part, there is the evening gown part, but it's also, isn't there beauty inside? I mean, when 30 million plus people watch this woman with this incredible voice on Britain's Got Talent, I'm sure you saw the video of Susan Boyle. There's inward beauty, there's outward beauty. Isn't the contest, isn't it supposed to be about both?
It is, and it's about a young woman. You're supposed to feel empowered. You're supposed to feel like you have a voice. You're supposed to feel like you're able to be you and to let your personality show and to not be afraid of that. And you know, Perez wanted me to be politically correct. I'm sorry that I wasn't politically correct. I wanted to be biblically correct and state what I feel and what's true to my heart and what's true to my faith, and it is what it is.
What did you think when he went on this rant and actually used the B word? I mean, I can't think of anything more vicious, more mean, more insulting, more degrading. Just because you have a different opinion, which, by the way, happens to be the majority opinion of people in the country, including mine. What did you think of that, and how do you respond directly to him?
You know, I forgive him. I know that he's angry for whatever reason. I know there must be a bigger issue going on in his life. It just so happens that I'm used in this way, and I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I'm happy to be here, and I'm filled with joy. I really am.
How did the faith develop in your life? Obviously, this is a big part of your life. You know, how did that become such a big part of your life?
Just the way that I was raised. You know, my parents raised me to have integrity, to you know, to believe in God, to believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And I'm not here to press my views on anyone else out there. I happened to be asked a very controversial question on national television in front of millions of people. And I think that was a time in my life where I had to stay strong, and I had to stay true to my convictions and stay true to my faith and just come out there and say it.
And even your sister, who's serving in the armed services, she disagrees with you on the issue.
And we have disagreements all the time about this topic. You know, my dad and I watch your show every night. And my sister will call in and she'll talk to us, and we'll have little debates here and there. And
well, I'm going to get you and your sister on. Maybe we'll have you two to debate together. That might be a lot of fun.
But it's okay. We agree to disagree, and that's fine. And that's what's great about being an American, is that we're entitled to our own opinion.
What's the next step for you? What would you like to have happen in your career?
We'll see where it goes from here. I would hope to maybe become a motivational speaker and speak to young people about following your heart and staying true to yourself and not being afraid, just being, you know, being fearless. Don't be afraid to stand,
I love that. Yeah.
to stand apart from what's the norm and politically correct.
That's the biggest thing with kids. I mean, look at drugs and sex and, you know, all the pressure they have. If you could, in 30 seconds, what would you tell these kids?
I would tell them, do not let anyone come in between you and your beliefs and your faith, and just stay true to yourself, and don't compromise that for anyone or anything. I didn't compromise that for the crown of Miss USA.
I think there's a lot of people cheering you tonight, that you stood on your principles, that you put the principles above winning, and not enough people do that, and I admire you a lot for it. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.